Thursday, March 14th, and thank you very much for coming on back to the Plus. It's a Damon Brew Show brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. I don't know what you're doing for lunch today. Go to Ike's. Well, more on that in just a second. You know, all the 49ers free agent choices, decisions, trades that they've made, they've all been on the defensive side of the ball. I wanted to talk about another incomplete that we know that they need to work on, but I actually think a lot of their solutions, some of their best, most available, ready-to-play solutions are already in-house. When's the last time anyone did a show about Spencer Burford getting better? That's what we're going to do here today. It's great to have you. I want to talk about those dogs up front, those offensive line dogs. You got to have them. And right now, I think some of the dogs that the 49ers have are going to be more valuable to the upcoming season than the dogs that they're going to go out and get. Think about how Aaron Banks got drafted and was unable to dress. It was such a project to get him ready. And now 3 years in, this guy is an actual player. He, outside of Trent Williams, was the best offensive lineman that the 49ers had last season. You look across the board, obviously with Trent Williams are good. We don't even need to talk about Trent. Trent is allowed to play as long as he wants to play for the 49ers. If his body says, I can strap it on and get ready and get out there today, you let him play, no questions asked. Behind him, you have an improving Jalen Moore, who is 26 years old. Aaron Banks, again, is only 26 years old. Jake Brindle, a player that a lot of people would like to see an upgrade from. He's 31 years old. He's not at the end of his ability to get any better. This brings us to Colton McKivitz, who's 27, who's going to be around for at least a couple more years. He's a better player than a lot of people want to admit. Nick Zakelj is 24. Ben Barch is 25. Those guys remain projects, develop. Let's see how they grow into their NFL careers. They'll be in their second NFL seasons with the 49ers in 2024. This brings us to Spencer Burford. Spencer Burford gets thrown right into the mix after being a fourth-round draft pick, right? He gets thrown right in there. An awful lot of praise early on coming out of training camp from Trent Williams, who knows a thing or two about offensive linemen. And he keeps on saying, man, I believe in this kid Burford. Now, Burford just gave us a terrible last impression. Burford missed the block. I mean, whiffed on it to the point where he didn't even look at it. That laid waste to the final offensive play the 49ers ran in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Bad dessert will make you say, well, that whole meal was terrible. And look, Spencer Burford was subbed in for by John Feliciano, who remains a free agent. We don't know if he's back or if he's going to move on to greener pasture. I don't know if there's greener pasture for Feliciano than right back with the 49ers, so hopefully that brings him back to Santa Clara. Burford has started 30 games. 30 NFL games already. He is 23 years old. Remember how Aaron Banks, the day he got to the league, wasn't good enough to even put on a uniform on game day? Spencer Burford was thrown right into it, has done a pretty damn good job, all things considered. And again, he's 23 years old with 30 NFL starts already underneath his belt. Here's a slice of content no other creator's given you on YouTube today. And I know that when you lead with an offensive line thumbnail, you're probably asking people to go click on other thumbnails with sexier positions and players like Brandon Aiyuk. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the secondary. Let's talk about guys who run fast or touch the football. All of that's sexier. I get it. What if I told you that a critical piece of the 49ers in 2024 is the offseason development of Spencer Burford? As a matter of fact, there might be nobody on the 49ers who big step forward doesn't solve more problems in one big step forward than Spencer Burford. He's only 23. You don't give up on a 23-year-old who has already made 30 NFL starts. That's really impressive. Dude, this job ain't easy at all. At all. I know everyone's waiting on the next really, really big move. I know everyone's thinking, is Joey Bosa going to be put in the mix? Is Snead from Kansas City going to be brought into the fold? Is there a big trade? Mike Silver, who's been all over an awful lot of the moves that the 49ers have made, continues to hint that there is something still on the horizon for this team that's going to make everybody who's a 49er fan go, hey, look at that, look at that, look at that. Maybe there will be. Maybe that is coming. I think that Spencer Burford getting better is probably more important than adding Joey Bosa. I really do. Like Spencer Burford's massive offseason that turns him into a don't need to worry about that guy starter anymore. That would just be incredible for the San Francisco 49ers. Getting better up the middle just makes them so much better. It's hard to develop an offensive lineman. It's like it's like a center in the NBA. It's a position where you got to, 1, grow into the body, 2, grow into the league, 3, make sure that you fit into it and are the right piece of the puzzle for the team that's running you out there. I think that there is a huge opportunity for Spencer Burford laying right in front of him, and I really hope that he takes it. I really do. This guy's offseason is one of the biggest off seasons that officially nobody but me in this video has talked about. I mean, we've talked a lot about Spencer Burford and Feliciano and kind of threw him under the bus and the whole Tweetgate thing from the end of the Super blah, 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 blah. None of that matters. Hit that weight room. Keep your nutrition right. Put on another 15 pounds of muscle. Come back a little smarter, a little better, a little stronger. Technique, work on it all year. Hone yourself. Get in. You know, we got George Kittle doing tight end university. Who in the NFL has interior lineman university? Go and spend a week in the forest working with other offensive linemen on just punch blocking techniques. Spencer Burford could have a huge, huge year in front of him and be setting himself up for a big payday. Look at how some of these guards are getting paid. Look at the amount of money the Carolina Panthers have spent on guards alone. So get it up, Spencer Burford. Come on down. Let me tell you, I've absolutely timed this perfectly. That, my good friends, is your sip of the day. That was a delicious sip of coffee. When it comes to the draft for the 49ers, look, I understand my buddy Larry Krueger loves draftism and drafting and talking about it. And I do too. Don't get me wrong. I love the NFL draft. But to invest a ridiculous amount of time into the painstaking coverage of what might happen when before the 49ers pick, there is nothing short of 30 moving parts. You have to predict the moving parts for 30 other teams before you can even assume, all right, here's what the 49ers are going to do. So it's it's nothing more than a guesstimate of what could happen. Here's my guesstimate. As the draft goes along, I think that the 49ers do want to go offensive line early here, but the question will be at 31 for them. Now, what do you rather take? Would you rather take like the 5th, 6th best tackle available? Or at that point, are you going to come for, the 3rd or 4th best corner? The 3rd or 4th best wide receiver? If that's a direction that they would go in because something happens with Brandon Aiyuk. By the way, that Brandon Aiyuk market kind of got redefined a little bit with the Calvin Ridley deal. Calvin Ridley is getting $50 million guaranteed. It's over a 4-year. His $50 million is guaranteed in the first 3 years, and so that's your starting point for any Brandon Aiyuk negotiation. A $50 million guarantee is the starting point. When I think we were in that neighborhood, anyways, but. Let's say that the 49ers remain committed to making a pick of an offensive lineman at 31, regardless of how the draft plays out in front of them. Now, Graham Barton, the kid from Duke who can play tackle or guard, has been talked about an awful lot. He's probably appeared next to the 49ers in more mock drafts than any other one player in the first round. That stock that he has is actually pulling him up in the draft. Like early mocks have Graham Barton to the Niners. Latest mocks have his stock rising to, if not the middle of the draft, to the top of the lower third of the draft. And obviously the 49ers are at the back of the lower third of the draft, which leads me to now who might be there. And I got a name for you. I guess I got to throw my hat into the here's who the 49ers might draft. I'm going with offensive tackle Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. The word on Tyler Guyton, who's 6'8", 322 pounds, is that he's long, he's athletic, but the reason, he puts it on film, but he didn't really put it on a big show at the Combine. Little bit of a Combine disappointment, but you go ahead, you watch the tape, and there's a football player right there. As a matter of fact, because of Combine disappointment, he's sort of being written up these days as saying, well, he might not have that ceiling of elite tackles, but as it was also written up, he's kind of a high floor tackle who should be able to take on a starting role immediately on a team with Super Bowl aspirations. So if ready to play earlier in your career is what the Niners are looking for, maybe this guy's it. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. Check him out. Watch some film. Forget about what happened at the Combine. Just go watch the film. This dude is pancaking dudes in the Big 12. So I'm going with Tyler Guyton if they're still looking offensive lineman, and Graham Barton from Duke is off the board. There you go. Write that down. Somebody send that over to Mel Kiper. Tell him Damon thinks this. I'm sure he'll be really interested. So, to recap the first dozen or so minutes of today's show, Tyler Guyton could be the pick. But my number one pick for the 49ers offensive line to start clicking is a big offseason from Spencer Burford. I know people like to make fun of Spencer Burford or have that guy become a little bit of a whipping boy at the end of that Super Bowl. I mean, look, he absolutely put on tape a rep you would never want on tape in a preseason game, much less your final offensive play in a Super Bowl. But he's a good player. You don't get to start 30 NFL games at a charity. And he was thrown right into it. Remember, Aaron Banks took a while before he could even dress. Burford has been in it. That guy having a huge offseason, I think, is the fastest way for this 49ers offensive line to improve because, look, either Graham Barton or Tyler Guyton might show up, and guess what? Nothing proves that you can play in the NFL until you play in the NFL. Either one of those guys could be a bust. Either one of those guys could be a bust. The same way now we live in a world where the final pick in the draft could end up becoming a franchise quarterback, if indeed that's what we're looking at here with Brock. So don't tell me what you think you know about a single player, because the NFL tells us everything we need to know about a single player. And the NFL has told us, and Burford has told us, I can play in this league. Year 3 for an offensive lineman. That's a huge year. Huge year. That step between your rookie year and your sophomore year in football, everyone considers that the biggest step. The second biggest step you're going to take in your development is obviously now year 2 into 3. And then after that, you're kind of becoming who you're going to be. Your track is determined by your starting points. I like Burford's starting point, and I think you should too. What I also like, and what I know you like, are sandwiches. Who the hell doesn't like a great sandwich? When it comes to liking great sandwiches, I think my buddy Ike is the first team All-American in liking great sandwiches. He likes sandwiches so much he decided to dedicate his life to putting great sandwiches right into your mouth. Go ahead and go to Ike's today. If you're on the West Coast, you know about it. If you're watching me from the East Coast, from the Midwest, you need an Ike's in your life. The next time you come to the West Coast, look for an Ike's. You are probably staying in a hotel that could be close to an Ike's, and you can open up your delivery app. You can download that Ike's app specifically, have one of his sandwiches delivered to you. Get yourself an Ike's sandwich as soon as you can. You need this in your life. You want one in your mouth, and there you go. You can't go wrong. My man Ike's, download that app. The Ike's Rewards app, and start eating your way towards free sandwiches. You know, if you like the concept of free and sandwiches put together. So I got a little follow-up for you. I got a little follow-up for you, right? We've been talking about Maliek Collins, who the 49ers sent a 7th-round pick to the Houston Texans for Maliek Collins. Now, look at Maliek Collins, the player, and you say to yourself, geez, that's a really good player. There's certainly nobody probably drafted in the 7th round this year who's going to be as ready to play and contribute as a guy like Maliek Collins is going to be able to contribute for the 49ers. So I immediately thought, well, what's wrong? What's the damage there? There's got to be some damage. It's like when you know one of your friends is single, and your friend is without a doubt smart, successful, attractive, got a good personality. That's why they're your friend. But for whatever reason, they're still single. Like, what is it about being behind closed doors with this person and that element of that relationship that you'll never know about that leaves this person single? It's the incredibly successful. Look at it this way. I got to tell you, I pinned this on Jillian early. I met Jillian and I was instantly incredibly attracted to her. I was instantly incredibly attracted to her personality, her vibe, my wife is incredibly intelligent. She's very, very successful. My wife is a badass. You've all met her. You know her. Jillian's got brass knuckles, man. She is the real deal. And so, me always looking for the fault in just about anything. I walked away from the first date going, geez, I just met an awesome girl. What the hell's wrong with her? Like, how the hell did this girl just go out on a date with me? Why is this girl single? She's a catch. How is this catch not caught? Well, a sequence of other bad dates and bad decisions. I don't even care what brought Jillian to me. Thank God we met. Thank God we met. Well, I tell you all that to get back to our new friend here, Maliek Collins, defensive tackle from Houston for a 7th-round pick. And it immediately made me think of what is wrong with Maliek Collins. What's wrong there? What's wrong? Because on tape, this guy's a football player. So he must be a pain in the ass, a bad guy, a malcontent. He rubs people the wrong way, coaches, teammates. There's a flaw. Where is the flaw in this guy? Why is he being flipped for a 7th rounder, which is the NFL equivalent of, if not nothing, very little? How are you getting a player of this ilk for that draft pick? So look out, folks. The closest I'm going to get to the word journalism this week, Damon deploys his journalistic instincts. And here's what I did. John McClain, who's been covering football in Houston for 48 years. This guy covered Houston Oilers, much less Houston Texans. And John McClain is a god of football coverage in the state of Texas. And for whatever reason, one day he was nice enough to follow me back on Twitter. And so he and I have followed each other for years. I've had him on radio shows in the past. Whenever there's a story coming out of Houston that involves the Texans, he's my go-to guy. So in an actual act of journalism, and this is as close to I'm lowercase j journalist is an insult to a lowercase j journalist. That's how lowercase journalist I am. But I actually reached out to John McClain, and I want to share with you what he wrote back to me because I was looking for the flaw. Why? Why is Maliek Collins on the 49ers? John, explain this to me. It doesn't make sense. What's wrong with the guy? Here's what John wrote back. He's durable. He's terrific versus the run. He's coming off a career high with 5 sacks. His teammates love him. He works his ass off. We had no idea he was going to be traded. Both starting defensive tackles are gone, even though they played as well as they could. I'm guessing D'Amico has another player like Armstead on the way in, but that's just a guess. I'm still stunned at the 7. That's a guy who has been around enough NFL transactions in business to not be stunned by anything. Again, he's been covering the league for nearly 5 decades. If there were something wrong with Maliek Collins, John would tell me. And if it were something that, wasn't supposed to, I would have kept it private. I would have kept John's name off it. But there's nothing in that. Listen, durable, terrific versus the run, coming off a career high with 5 sacks. Teammates love him, works his ass off. We had no idea he was going to get traded. Can't believe he was flipped for a 7. A guy who knows everything about the Houston Texans. Cannot believe the value that the 49ers just got right there. So I think you should get excited about it. If John McClain is going, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? So good job, John Lynch, right? Good job. So what do we got? What am I seeing over here? That Joey Bosa's restructured? Is that what you're telling me? Joey Bosa has restructured and he's not leaving the Chargers. All right. Okay. Oh, by the way, Erwin asked me, I think Erwin's a Cal grad too, just like my wife is. Can Jillian take those brass knuckles out and just put them on Aaron Rodgers? I'm going to tell you right now, I am 100% not talking about Aaron Rodgers as a possible vice presidential candidate. That's absurd. These people aren't serious, and that's just insane. I think I just tweeted about it. I prefer my Aaron Rodgers saying ridiculous things like Jimmy Kimmel might be a pedophile more than I like Aaron Rodgers trying to put out carefully worded, politically correct statements about his real position on Sandy Hook, which is what I saw. And I don't even want to do that. That's just, no, thank you. How about me? I'm officially the guy who is unafraid to mix a little sports with a little politics, and I want nothing to do with this Aaron Rodgers story. Nothing. No thank you. But I am happy to tell you that John McClain thinks that Maliek Collins is a hell of a steal for a 7th rounder. Linebacker Eric Kendricks. Bonsoir. We hardly knew you. Eric Kendricks not coming to San Francisco. He is going to the Dallas Cowboys. I put out a short on this. And again, a 49ers career as short as his didn't demand an entire video. He got a short because he was rumored to be a 49er for about 18 hours there. He changed his mind for a Mike Zimmer reunion. Who wouldn't? Mike's so charming. But look, Zimmer did coach him a very long time in Minnesota, so I guess it makes sense. Look, his productivity and his experience might have helped the 49ers, but this is hardly the one who got away. So, Eric Kendricks, au revoir. I'd wish you good luck, but you're about to be a Dallas Cowboy, and there will be no wishing any good luck to any Dallas Cowboys. Not over here anyways. So, what else we got going on? I saw that the NFL is thinking about tinkering with the onside kicks rule. No, thank you. Can we not do this? How often does any league think about tinkering with an element of their rule book where you walk away going, oh yeah, that's a really good idea? I don't like when teams use rules to take strategy away from other teams. It's why I've always believed that the brotherly shove in Philadelphia was totally fair game. Like, if you had a problem with the brotherly shove, play better defense on 3rd down and quit setting up 4th and shorts for this team that has its, little, we can do this pretty much in a 90% clip against anything. And that's, if you want to take care of the Eagles, you got to do that on a football field. Don't do it in the rule book. Well, leave it to the Eagles, who have proposed what the NFL is considering. A new report reveals that the elimination of the onside kick is one of 4 new rule changes that have been proposed by NFL teams. The new rule proposal comes from the Eagles, and it would replace the onside kick with a 4th and 20 play from scrimmage on your own 20-yard line. Both the XFL and the USFL had similar rules in place in recent years. Well, all I can tell you is that, hey, NFL, you probably shouldn't be looking for ideas from 2 leagues that wish they were you. And why? Just why? Again, if your whole argument is it's in the best interest for player safety, we cannot run football through the prism of player safety. Because the sport of football, in just how it is played, how we go about executing it, runs totally in the opposite direction of the concept of player safety. Trying to make football safe is like removing the gravity from skydiving. You can't do it. The sport is inherently dangerous. You want to protect the head, get head-on-head collisions and that sort of thing. Oh, like, okay, but the whole, this play is too dangerous, we're eliminating it. Stop. Everybody on that football field knows what the deal is. They took the deal. They make great sums of money for taking that deal. And that's the deal. I do dangerous shit for a lot of money to entertain people. That's what football is. Guys who agree. Big paychecks for small careers in a dangerous atmosphere. Compensate my ass. It's like what? It's like what's the deadliest catch? It's like the guys who fish for crabs out in the Bering Straits or Bering Sea. Like, that shit's dangerous. And even though all you're doing is like just getting crabs, we're going to pay you an awful lot of money to do that because this shit is dangerous. Do you take the deal? Everybody on that boat took the deal. Well, how do we make crab fishing safer? You don't. The ocean can get angry. The ocean was angry that day, my friends. Anyway. Do not take away the onside kick. It's an exciting play. It's like the big, catcher, runner, base runner collision at home plate. Like, dude, you wanted to be a catcher? That means you might get trucked in a football game. That's the way it goes. Or excuse me, you might get trucked in a baseball game. That's why you get all this equipment to wear. I see a few people are like, well, this team might be very interested in the fact that Brandon Aiyuk, yeah, there should be a lot of interest in Brandon Aiyuk. And I do think that the 49ers should take calls. That's what you do as a front office. You take calls, you consider offers. You would have to blow me away to want to trade Brandon Aiyuk. Again, Brandon Aiyuk getting a new deal with at least 55 million guaranteed might sound like a swallow twice on it deal today. It's going to be normal wide receiver pay 2-3 years from now. Quit being afraid of sticker shock on any player at any position where the sticker value of all players at all position just goes up. It never goes down. Football's never going to be losing money. So it's all going to get more expensive. It's all going to cost more. It's going to cost more to retain quality wide receivers the same way it's going to cost more for the exact same seat that you're sitting in next year as it was last year. So there you go. We're never going to waste your time. That is 30 solid minutes of football, offensive line, actual journalism attached to Maliek Collins and how they got him for a 7th-round pick. We talked about onside kicks. I told you about delicious sandwiches. I told you that football was dangerous. Everyone all caught up because I'm sick and tired of telling you what's about to happen, what might happen. We're at the official point in this offseason where we're going to get news, and that's what happened. It's like the NCAA tournament selection show. Like, it drives me nuts when they come out and do anything other than show you the brackets. Like, don't debate who might be in this tournament anymore. We've done that all goddamn season long. You have the information of who's in this tournament in front of you. Stop with the imaginary debates. When the 49ers do something next, we will stop what we're doing and we'll tell you about it. But the whole speculation of who might be next, what trade might happen, I'm good with it. That's what we've done. It's the only conversation we've had over the last 72 hours. Pardon me. I'm sick and tired of speculating about what might happen next. We're all going to watch it. What do we got? Copenhagen interpretation. I don't like getting my news from the chat. Kevin Givens is returning to the 49ers on a 1-year deal per Adam Schefter. The reason why we'll go with Copenhagen interpretation over here is because he's citing a source. If you're citing your sources, I might go to you. So there you go. We have cited our sources. Okay. That makes things a little bit easier. I like Kevin Givens. What else we got going on here? What else we got going on today? After your full half hour of football. And by the way, I do have a lunch that I got to get to today's show. Sorry, no disco lights today. I know, Chef Amy, I let you down yesterday when we didn't go into Club Plus after a big long hour with Larry. I don't have time for Club Plus today. I'm so sorry. You know I love you. I think we'll take some calls on a Friday. We'll have a very fun, wide open Friday show, and we'll all hang out together tomorrow at 11 a.m. I can promise you that, West Coast time. By the way, like and subscribe, my good friends. Memberships to become part of the initiated are indeed available to you. Thank you so very much. If you really want to support the station, the channel here, with a membership, but you can do an awful lot to support what I'm doing just by hitting like, just by hitting subscribe, maybe even share the video with a few of your friends, whatever it takes to do to move this video around the internet. Moving around the internet. Thank you so very much. You know more about this shit than I do. I've been here for about a year, but it's still all new to me. Warriors get dumped in Dallas last night. No real surprise there at all. The Warriors offense is just absolutely shapeless without Steph Curry in it. And again, there's nobody who stacks uninspiring performances on top of other uninspiring performances, quite like Andrew Wiggins. I mean, whether he's coming off the bench, whether he's in your starting five, it's just a galactic yawn from Andrew Wiggins, especially without Steph Curry. You know, if you want to count on that guy to really step up, really go ahead and make a real contribution that matters tonight, there is nobody who is more qualified to not accept that challenge than Andrew frickin' Wiggins. I can't stand him as a basketball player. I can't. Anthony Slater, who was talking about how Steph Curry could be back Saturday night against the Lakers, that is the schedule. Slater says it's becoming increasingly difficult to imagine the Warriors escaping the bottom side of the play-in bracket. They appear destined for the 9 versus 10 elimination game, and that would likely come against the Los Angeles Lakers. As it's set up right now, look, in terms of one evening of basketball to go forward or not, yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, we're all watching that. Warriors, Lakers, winner take all. Sure. That's not how you want this season to come to its end, kids. Because the Lakers probably win that game. And it's just going to be the slamming of the brakes on a basketball season that has been very interesting at times, very compelling at times, quite frustrating at other times, but I'm never ready to be done with basketball. And unfortunately, these douchebags probably not even making the tournament. So I need basketball. If I need something to pull for till we get to April at least. Go Warriors. Go Warriors. Chef A, again. Andrew Wiggins drives me nuts. Enough said. Moving right along. Nothing to see here, folks. Joe Schmo says Wiggins maybe just going through some stuff. Maybe day to day needs to smack him. Look, I don't. No one needs to smack him, and I'm sure he's going through stuff. But guess what? We're all going through stuff. We're all going through stuff. Normally when you go through stuff, you hustle a little harder, a little bit more. I mean, what is Andrew Wiggins going through? I don't even care anymore. Andrew Wiggins has not given the Golden State Warriors an important night of basketball since the last NBA Finals appearance this team was in, and he was good against the Celtics. Since then, he has either been underwhelming or absent. It's the only way you could possibly describe Andrew Wiggins, who is going through, statistically, the worst year of his career. Right when the Warriors need him the most. In the can't believe it section of the show, which we'll wrap up today with, we have a curler named Brianne Harris, who is facing a 4-year suspension after testing positive for a banned substance. Now, okay, she's probably going to have to pull out I took something that I wasn't aware that, no. She was taking Laganadrol, which is like a real big boy steroid. Like that's I'm trying to hit 50 home runs, Major League Baseball level big boy steroid right there. That is not something you'd think. And I've never assumed that we would have a Canadian women's curler attached to a 4-year steroid suspension. But here we are. Here we are. The 32-year-old from Winnipeg told CBC Sports that she plans to appeal the ban in the Court of Arbitration for Sport, arguing that she was unknowingly exposed to it through bodily contact. Bullshit. I mean, that would. I'm sure her lawyer has a very compelling, interesting PowerPoint presentation ready to go. I'm sure there is a several minutes long case to be made by her representatives as to how all of this might have happened. If I were the lawyer on the other side of the aisle, I would stand up after that opening argument and I would just say, bullshit. I rest my case. You cannot transmit something in your blood to someone by rubbing up against them. Didn't we learn this lesson when everyone was worried about an HIV positive Magic Johnson playing in an all-star game? Like, this is not a new lesson. We do know that things that are inside of you can't be transmitted from one person to another by just rubbing. I'm going to have to literally put a piece of me into you to deliver something in me to you. And now we've shared too much. What the hell are we doing? Bullshit, lady. I don't know. Here's the thing. You're 32 years old. Maybe that's when it all starts going downhill for female Canadian curlers from Winnipeg. I don't know when the wheels fall off, but maybe that's it. She's trying to hold on. She is a 4-time Canadian women curling champion, so she's got a lot of skin in the game, but it is not skin-to-skin contact that has her testing positive for fucking, big boy steroids. This isn't one of those like, oh, there was an antihistamine that I didn't know that I took because of this congested. No. This is Lance Armstrong shooting things directly into his dick, trying to win a Tour de France level steroids. And I don't know if he used his dick as an entry portal or not. I just wanted to paint vividly. We wrap up today with the modern Lufthansa heist of our time in the world of sports. I am very sorry to everyone who is watching today's show who had a ticket to tonight's Pittsburgh Penguins game. It was Jaromír Jágr bobblehead night, which means I'm guessing the first 10, 15,000 fans of the Penguins got Jaromír Jágr bobbleheads, but no, you won't. Because the truck bringing these bobbleheads to Pittsburgh was stolen, hijacked. I don't know. Anyone seen Joe Pesci in the last few hours? Hey, Hendry, this is bobblejacked? I don't know. What really happened? Are the Teamsters involved in here? Is the driver okay? I don't have any follow-up details for you. Was this an armed robbery? What is the street value of, I don't know, 10,000 Jaromír Jágr bobbleheads? How much less value would that have in Philadelphia as to Pittsburgh? I don't know. Maybe you got to move all your product on the black market in one city, which means maybe it'll be easier to track down for, I'm sure, the dozens of authorities that are all over this. Have we called the FBI, CIA? Jaromír Jágr bobbleheads, an entire tractor trailer full of them, has gone missing. How would you like to be the criminal mastermind behind that? You know, you really hope that your idea for hijacking this bobblehead truck is a sound idea. And then you hear about it the next day. It's like it's in sports. It's on Twitter. You're doing the straight up Ray Liotta in the shower, listening to the radio. Lufthansa heist. We did it, Jimmy. We did it. Yeah, Jimmy. We did. Congratulations to all criminals involved in this. I'm impressed. I'm not even angry. I'm not even angry. I didn't know bobblehead tractor trailer hijacking was even like a modern crime we needed to worry about in 2024. Yet here we are. Here we are. It's happened. Joe Schmo, maybe with a really good defense for our curling friend. Someone sneezed the steroids on me? Yeah. Someone sneezed. Are the Sharks in Pittsburgh tonight? There you go. There's your one Shark story of the year. I'm glad the Sharks made it in before hockey season ended. Oh, my goodness. How about this? My man, Rob C. So, Damon, I went to Tony Nick's on Friday at 7:30. I didn't see you there. I was going to drop this on you. Rob C. Note coming in from the top rope with a super chat. I appreciate that, Rob. You know what happened? We were all at dinner earlier, and we got held up at dinner, as large groups going to dinner will. We didn't even make it to Tony Nick's until about 9:30. So I am sorry that I missed you there. But thank you very, very much. Rob C-Note coming in. Rob C-Note is back with a vengeance. Cheers, Rob. And cheers to all of you. Thank you for being here. I don't know if every one of you gets a Jaromír Jágr bobblehead. I don't know how in cahoots we are with the criminal enterprise that pulled this off, but I hope that all of you get a Jaromír Jágr bobblehead. Thank you so very, very much. It is great having you here. It means an awful lot that you keep on returning day after day. Thank you so very much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for clicking, and doing all these things. It means an awful lot. We'll be back to wrap up this week starting at 8:30 a.m. Friday morning. It is a wake up with Damon and Larry. We'll be very well positioned to recap the first week of free agency around the NFL, and we'll get you ready for a big weekend and what it might all look like by the time we get back together on Monday. So a little review, little preview. That's what Larry and I do, and I thank you for doing it with me here, and we'll, of course, be hanging out at 11 a.m. as we normally do on a Friday. We'll be taking some calls, a little sports fun Friday since we skipped a couple of those in a row. You're all fantastic. My kind of people. Every single time I look up, I like what I see out of you. Thank you for doing the same over here. Like and subscribe, all that jive turkey stuff. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it.